Hi everyone, I'm April and welcome to Ask Vinnie Thompson Virtual Home Buying Seminar. Today, Vinnie and our guests will discuss about home buying, how to get pre-qualified, what is the credit score needed to purchase, how much cash do I need, is now the right time to buy, new mortgage requirements, learn how to stop paying rent with our special guests, Carnell Newsome, Credit Repair Financial Services Corp., Attorney Crystal Young, real estate attorney, Suris and Associates. So Vinny and guests, take it away.
All right. If I'm having a little bit of, all right. I'm having a little difficulties. I apologize in that we dive into the world of Zoom. I'm sorry, but we're still going to deliver a high level of information to help you buy or maybe even sell your home, right? Family, friends, relatives, even tell your enemies if you want them to move away from you, call me. I got you. I can take great care of you. So, home buying seminar. This home buying seminar, I invited some friends, Crystal and Carnell, to help explain the process. Is my scaled down, practical version of how you can buy a home, right? So there's home buying seminars, and then as a listing agent, I want to give you some insight on what to do when you're buying a home and how to. Um, I broke it down really to its most basic element, so I think people can understand uh, to make them win at a high level. From what credit score you may need, what to do in preparation of, who you should call, who do you reach out to. In my humble opinion, I believe that the realtor could quite possibly be the first person you should call because we have banks in our mind as you're talking of who you should use. I have some money down. I have no money down. I got a lot of money. I may need help with credit, right? Uh, what real help do you need? For me, I think the holy grail of credit is a business loan or home loan. So we have all the resources to help you, right? We have the people that can help you with the credit, like Carnell. We have the mortgage brokers. And then, of course, New York is an attorney state, and you definitely need a good attorney. You need a good real estate attorney. That's key. I've had deals that have died when you don't have an attorney that specializes in real estate. I specialize in real estate that's one and two, maybe three family. If you said, Vinny, I got a beautiful apartment building that I want you to sell. It's 100 units. It's got this, it's that. I would say, you know what? I need to call in backup. It's not my specialty. I would say, thank you. Pick up the phone and call some of my buddies, that I know in the system to help me. I would not be able to help you with that. But we do live in an attorney state. Some places are. Here in New York is. And you need a great attorney like Crystal Young to help you with that. Crystal, did you want to have some input on how we get things done?
Yeah, definitely. Hi, guys. Thank you for coming today and taking your Sunday to spend some time with us as we speak about the home buying process. So, Vinny, thank you for the introduction. And Vinny's correct. You need a real estate attorney. There's oftentimes where deals are provided to your family member because your family member is an attorney, but your family member may handle criminal law and doesn't really know the laws of New York State as it relates to real estate. When that's the case, it makes it more difficult for all parties, and it could really slow down the process. So Vinny, I agree. You definitely need a real estate attorney and someone with experience. So when you are looking for an attorney, hopefully you will call myself and Vinny and Carnell here. Hopefully the team is all here for you. But if you do decide to, do some research on the attorney, you should ask several questions. And one of the questions is, what's your experience in handling, real estate matters? Is some attorneys choose not to represent clients that are purchasing or selling co-ops. So even if they are a real estate attorney, you want to ask very specific questions as to, what type of experience that particular attorney has in handling real estate transactions. You also want to know, their availability. Will you have access to them by way of a cell phone? Do they have staff? Is it a one-man shop, which is fine, but also that could slow down the process. If your attorney is in a closing, then you want to know that there is a paralegal with years of experience that can assist you immediately while that attorney is away from her desk or his desk. So it's really a good idea to interview the attorney and to use a real estate attorney when you're uh, looking to buy or sell a home. Back to you, Vinny.
Absolutely. I couldn't have said it any better. Because in New York, yeah. I'm sorry, Chris, I'm getting a little bit of delay. I'm sorry if I may have stepped on something you may
No,
have said. Yeah, I couldn't have. Yeah, I couldn't have said it any better. Because having an attorney and having an attorney finish things expediently is very crucial. In New York, until you go to contract, I feel like the deal is dying a slow death every day. Because you have it, they're excited, and things can get slowed down. And that's why you need somebody who's on it, has staff that can help answer the phone, turn that contract around. Because York, until you have fully executed, you really don't have any great conversation during inspection. But until it's in contract, you don't have anything. Would you agree with that, Crystal?
I agree. Yeah, for sure. Until the agreement is what they call memorialized in a signed written agreement, and it has to be signed by both parties. So there are situations where the attorney reviews the contract. You're purchasing a home. So the attorney reviews a contract. You meet with the attorney to sign and write your down payment check. And that contract is then sent to the seller, and the seller may then decide to take another offer. So not until such time as both sides have signed the contract are you in contract, which is why it's very important, again, to work with a real estate attorney that has accessibility. Because once that offer, as Vinny stated, once that offer is approved, and once that contract is then provided to the attorney, you want all of that to happen very quick. If you can have a accepted offer and a inspection within 48 hours and have a contract signed, you lessen the chance that the seller will find or get another offer, and you increase the chances of actually getting into contract very quickly.
Absolutely. Okay. And I just want to go switch real quick before we deep a little more deeper into the subject of home ownership. I want to introduce Carnell. Carnell, you have interesting programs for people, and I'm sure you'll speak to worthiness. So tell them about yourself.
Yeah, a little bit about me. My background is mortgage finance. I was in the mortgage industry for many, many years. I got in the mortgage industry during the last recession. So in order for me to make a living back then, I had to either, get another job. I had to either live off my savings or I had to get creative. So I was blessed enough to learn about this amazing company that I became a partner with called Financial Education Services. And immediately what drew me to the company was the educational component, because guys, when it comes to credit, credit is one of the subjects that was never taught to us at all. It's not taught in school. It's not taught in college. It's not taught anywhere. So I developed a passion for helping people to get into homes by, helping them improve the credit. Fast forward, I left the mortgage industry, but I used my background in mortgage lending and with the credit to help educate people to make better decisions so they can go from renting to become homeowners.
Okay, perfect. What other programs do they have, Carnell? I know we'll get deep into what you're saying. Do they have that can help uh, young people that want to get a home?
Yeah, if you're renting right now and you have enough money to pay for rent and you got enough money for first month and second month and even third month security deposit, you can actually become a homeowner, but it starts with your credit. So one of the things you really want to do is you want to get a free copy of your credit profile by going to, annualcreditreport.com. It's a site that you can go to and you get a free copy of your credit report from all three credit agencies, and it gives you the true accurate information on your credit report. Then from there, you want to see what's up there. If there's anything that you see that's negative that's up there, you want to go about addressing it. And if you need a little help, I'm here to help you as well. But these are things that can be most likely corrected on your own. And then on top of that, you want to make sure you're building credit. Building credit is really helpful because when it comes to getting financing, the banks wants to see, your positive credit history. So having three trade lines is something that's required. It's not definitely needed, but having those three trade lines is what the lender's going to look at to help you to get a good credit score, but is also going to help you to open up different loan programs. Now, there's 7 programs that are out there. And again, I'm not a licensed loan originator, so I got to be really careful what I'm saying today. But there's conventional financing, that's your traditional financing. People go to that program because the mortgage insurance in those programs are very low. What mortgage insurance is, guys, it's insurance that's on a loan that has no type of value for you. It just protects the lender in case you go into default. And then there's your FHA financing, which is backed by the Federal Housing Administration. With that program right there, they'll take lower scores, but there's mortgage insurance that's going to be on a loan for the lifetime of it if you put down the lowest down payment, which is 3.5%. A lot of people who are first-time home buyers go for that program because they're a little bit more flexible in the guidelines. So you can have, some derogatory comments on your credit report, and they'll still give you a loan as long as you have like a letter of explanation of what happened, or maybe if you corrected the situation or have some assets in place to show that you have reserves in case of an emergency. So that's a great program. And then there's a VA loan. It's great for veterans. If you're a veteran, it's a no-brainer. It's 100% financing, zero money down, and there's no mortgage insurance. Okay, and it's a great program that's out there. They do have like a upfront fee that they charge on top of the loan. And again, I'm not a licensed loan officer, so I don't want to go into too much detail, but there's great programs that are out there. And I always tell people this, that if you have like a 401k, right? Most of your employers, will allow you to use your money in your 401k towards down payment for home ownership. And so if you have a little bit of money saved, maybe, it's tax season and you're getting back a nice tax refund. So you have the minimum down payment for an FHA mortgage, which is 3.5% of the purchase price. So for closing costs, there's a couple things you can do. You can borrow from your 401k to make up for the difference maybe you don't have for your down payment. And you can also use that too for your closing costs as well. And there's other ways that the banks can get creative. Realtors can help you out by doing sales concession. Realtor, Vinny will talk to you about that in a little bit.
Yeah, and look, it's so individual. That's why I decided to really kind of tailor make a bare bones approach to how you can get a home. And this really ends up in a phone call, right? Because we're going to give you preliminary information here. When someone calls me on the phone and says, "Hey, I saw this house at 123 Mockingbird Lane. Can I go see it?" I'm like, Mr. Jones, Mrs. Jones, I'd love to sell you that house and show you that house, but we have to sit down and have this kind of conversation, right? Not in person anymore, a Zoom call, so I can explain to you the home buying process. I like to waste no time. I like to think I'm pretty good at what I do. And I want to know if I want to work with you and if you want to work with me. So we have this one-on-one. It takes about an hour with you telling me what is your unique situation with, do you have that 401k that Carnell spoke about? Do you have an attorney who is, strictly a real estate attorney? This is their specialty in what they do. Do you need down payment assistance? I think a lot of people don't realize, especially in New York, we have so many now essential workers may not need anything besides just great guidance. Because what Carnell said earlier is this is not something they teach you in school. But with no further ado, I want to jump into the presentation part of today and just give you some basic information real quick, and then open it up for question and answers, right? Because I think that's when people really learn, with questions and answers. Okay, so that's me. That's my funny face, retouched, with no wrinkles, no marks, lots of makeup. Vinny Thompson from the Ask Vinny Thompson team. No, those are not blue contact lenses. They're just a reflection when the photographer took the pictures. I have to answer this question all the time. But in the 80s, we did used to do that, though. Not me, not me. Uh, Next slide, April. So my guest speakers, you met them already, Carnell Newsome and Crystal Young, the excellent real estate attorney. It's my girl right there. She's a grown woman. She's our go-to attorney. Next slide. So you want to buy a house, right? There's all types of homes you can buy. You can buy a normal residential home. You have townhomes, condos, co-ops, investment properties, or new construction, right? In New York, there's not a lot of new construction unless you go upstate, or maybe in further parts of Long Island, or maybe some new developments, right? Parts of the Bronx, they're kind of building. Far Rockaway is also building, but more or less, unless they're going deep into the swampland or maybe taking over some burial grounds, there's not a lot of new construction. New York is primarily older homes, right? Get real estate because they're not making any more land, as the saying goes. Next slide, April. So, home buying do's and don'ts, right? Credit. Uh, don't rely on Credit Karma. I'm not bashing Credit Karma. They're just well known for not having all the information you may need. You may get two credit bureaus, not all three, to give you a full answer on what you need for your credit. Often, as a landlord and as an agent, we get to Credit Karma. We're like, look, Credit Karma is not good enough. Carnell hit a major point. He says, go to, what was that, Carnell? Freeannualcreditreport.com.
Yeah, annualcreditreport.com.
Yeah, you can get your free one each year, and that at least will give you all three credit bureaus. Don't Google on how to fix your credit yourself, right? People get lost in this world of credit, do, don't do, and Googling these type of things when you have to go to the professionals, right? Assumably, you have a job, and you have a job and you have what you're good at. Let the people who are good at doing what they do, help you. Friends and family, they mean well, they truly do. But getting a one-person account of how to do something is not going to help you and your family understand the process, begin to purchase a home, and then bring that information back to you and your family and friends by relying on a professional that does this on a daily level. Next slide, April. Do ask a professional in the mortgage industry. I have people that work in the mortgage industry. They are our preferred partners that we can help you get to the financial success that you need. I think sometimes people left to their own devices. They may not choose someone who is a mortgage industry professional. Uh, Once again, not bashing, just telling my practical experience. I think the municipal credit union, the MCU that they use locally here, is great for car loans. They are great for Christmas funds and saving money. Not so much for home loans, right? That's not what they're known for. They're known to get people as a collective, pool their money and give you low interest rates. Generally speaking, we don't use them for mortgages, and it wouldn't be your best advice. You know, um, Relying on professionals gives you a long-term goal for your financial success, right? That's what you want. Hire a professional, right? So if you call me, I'll have a consultation with you and say, hey, would you like to hire me, right? Because when you hire me, I'll give you my undivided attention. You calling 10 realtors at a time and getting 10 different answers is going to do more hurt than help. When you have an attorney, realize you're going to need an attorney for maybe all of your life, right? So if you're buying real estate, you're selling real estate, you wield real estate, you have deeds, you're going to need that. Get an accountant to help you count the money, even if you don't have any, right? If you don't have any, at some point in time, you will. But to get to that level, you're going to need somebody. Taking great advice, from your attorney always helps, right? Don't sign anything, right? What's that old saying? Don't talk to the cops. So if you're reaching out to people and you don't understand the documents you're signing, reach out to your attorney, or put on the bottom clause something like what's the statement they could put on on the statement, Crystal, that my attorney has to approve this or something like that to protect themselves?
Right, that's absolutely right. You would just say that, this has not been
You
reviewed
there?
by an
She not.
attorney. Can you hear me, Vinny? Can you guys hear me?
I hear you, Crystal.
Okay. Vinny, can you hear me?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, say again.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
say again. Mhm.
you would simply place the statement that, this has not been reviewed by an attorney. You know,
Right.
I,
And
but yet it has not been reviewed by my attorney.
right. And that can help because I'm sure, Crystal, you can attest, people sign things all the time that, after the fact, the attorney can't get you out of.
Absolutely.
So you want to be mindful of that, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Next slide, April. So once again, I told you this was bare bones, right? Saving money and purchase programs. I broke it down for you as basic as I could, right? Let's say you have Raheem, right? That's him. He's right there. He makes 30 grand a year. And Becky, she makes $40,000 a year, right? Together, 70,000 in the New York area, it's not a lot of money. All right. It can't totally get you there. But they have grandpa, right? Grandpa's about, let's say grandpa's 90 years old, but he gets a pension, right? So that combined income, right? 30 plus 40. Let's say I can't do math. How much is that? You're close to 100 grand. 100 grand can get you something 400s, depending on how much down payment you have. Uh, you can get a home, something close to that, right? Each person is individual, but this helps you break down the mystery of how do people buy, right? So if you are that person who's Raheem and you make 30 a year, you're not ready. But if Raheem and Becky get together, you're closer and they grab grandpa, now you're getting to that close to six-figure number. You pool your incomes together, and that's how you buy a home. Let's say you're a loner. Hey, I make $50,000 a year. I'm part of the He-Man or She-Woman Hater Club. I don't want to get involved in this couple stuff, right? If you make 50 grand and you choose to get a second job, on the tail end of that second year, you combine your income once again to make about 90 to 100,000 in the New York market. You now can qualify to get a home on your own, right? You make 50 on one job, 40 to 50 on another. After 2 years, the banks normally will say yes. Now you can qualify because the bank is secure that you can pay the mortgage. So when people say, how do I don't make enough money, once again, it's individual. I can give you the consultation on how you can. Next slide, April. So using that scenario of the 90,000 income. So with a $90,000 income, you can afford a home for approximately, right, depending on the interest rate, which by the way is very low, for a home for $475,000. So let's say using a scenario, you need $40,000, to buy a home, and you only have, let's say, 25,000, right? We can increase the cost of the home and give you what's called the seller's concession. If the homeowner allows it, right? That increases the price of the home. You kind of have like a phantom $25,000 that can help you purchase the home, right? That's included in the closing cost, and then you can buy a home. Um, there's lots of programs out there. I don't know now with the current economy. They have NACA, they have the neighborhood housing program, and they have other independent programs that I really suggest you speak to your real estate agent, and he's going to let you know how acceptable those programs are when it comes to offering offers on homes. So it's not every time you have a program the seller's going to accept that, right? So if you're the seller and you have a certain amount of offers, you may not want the program. It all depends though. But once again, rely on your realtor that you hired to figure out how to get you into the home, right? Next slide, April. Okay, once again, getting the home do's and don'ts. I've seen people often go to buy a home and their expectations are that of TV, the granite countertops, right? The glass backsplash, the stainless steel appliances. I promise you, in the New York area, that is not every single home. That's a TV version. So I just tell you straight, don't be picky. You know, love your family, right? Don't love a borough and don't love your landlord, right? So choose wisely and get a home for your family. Uh, Looking on Instagram, every home once again has the granite countertop, the hardwood floors, and the stainless steel appliances. You can buy it on your own once you get the home. So what you should do is start a legacy for your family. That word is thrown around all the time, right? But the truth is, you start that legacy by you being the catalyst to help your family by buying a home, right? And there's all kind of ways once you do want to sell to have that legacy, right? Sometimes you can get, some money from your family members that'll help you with that 20, 30 grand you may need as a gift, right? And be motivated to purchase. So when you're motivated, sometimes you may have to make an over asking to compete and get that home. It's not that you're overpaying because the bank won't let you overpay. You're just motivated to really get the home. Next slide. The three P's of real estate, right? Price, product, and place. Not my scenario. I didn't make it up. I just found it to be true, right? Generally speaking, you only get two. The house may be in the condition that you want it in. It may be the price, but if you got $400,000, almost going to say anywhere in Brooklyn, you probably can't buy, right? So you might want to think of going east, young man or young woman, and coming to Queens or maybe further out into the Nassau-Suffolk County border, and depending on what you have. And the same thing goes, you might be able to afford, let's say, Queens, and it's at the price you want, but you may be buying grandma's house. The condition may not be that good, right? But it's okay. You can make it your own. You can buy your own stainless steel fridge, put your own hardwood floors in there, right? Next slide.
1 minute, Vinny.
No problem. Yeah, so just talking about, the three P's of real estate, that's just, once again, my practicing opinion of what I see that hurts people when they're looking for homes because it may not be the home in their mind that they thought of. They feel like, oh, I don't want the home. No, be motivated to buy a home for you and your family. Go ahead, April. Next slide. Uh, And we're back. We're All right, so as we're doing operational difficulties, uh, Crystal, let's talk about repairs, right? I like using Crystal because she's very low drama, highly intelligent, and gets stuff done. Seriously, because I've used other attorneys who more so sometimes want to pick fights and get involved. And I try as an agent to get everything solved before it gets to the attorney, so we have something delivered on the silver plate so they can do their job, protect clients, and get the deal done. Because if not, you never can tell the person on the other end of the deal wants to maybe have a problem with riders, repairs, it hasn't been worked out yet, and then emotions get involved, as far as that goes. Crystal, would you like to speak to that?
Yeah, I rely heavily on the agent. So Vinny, I rely heavily on. when he trusts me with his client, with the deal, I always go to Vinny if there is, any sort of pushback on the other side, or when we're talking about repairs, I go to Vinny and I say, okay, how should this repair read in the contract? I can come up with the wording, the contractual language, but let's make it as easy as possible so the seller clearly understands what he needs to do and the buyer feels protected. So, you have a good agent. That agent has now negotiated the repair, and your attorney, all they're left to do is just to ensure the proper language is placed in the contract. So you definitely have a agent on your side when you're working with Vinny Thompson, because he will ensure if there's a repair that needs to be done, that repair is written in your contract and it will be done prior to closing.
And you might be saying, well, we're talking about a home buying seminar. Why you bring this up? Because I'm telling you once again, in my practical experience, what can kill a deal, right? So before you purchase the home, you're going to do an inspection. When you do an inspection, they're going to come back with some things. And sometimes that report, I've seen reports as high as 100 pages. First of all, I'm not going through all of that. Let's be honest with you. I'm not going through 100 pages. We'll bring up the most important 3 to 4 things that we'd want to bring back to the seller, right? To see if we can get them repaired, right? So what's something that you want to take taken care of, right? A hole in the roof, right? Where the rain is coming down, a dead body in the basement, right? A structural repair, major things. The inspection report is really to educate you about what's going on in the home. All right, so we'll back up. So sometimes this is a home buying seminar, but sometimes we have sellers as well. So you should use a realtor that could put your home on the listing service. Also, decluttering and to get your home shown, the buyers can see themselves in the home when you've done these basic things. When I have my buyers and it's not decluttered or just basically painted, the buyers are just turned off. All right. Definitely interview more than one realtor, unless you're calling me. Right. I'm one and done. All right. Uh, Price the home at the number you think can sell. And if you do need an investor, normally that's your last resort, like meaning if there's some serious damage to the home can't get a mortgage because it's in like really bad shape, that does happen, then you might need an investor. But either way, give me a call or someone, my colleagues to help you. Um, Next slide, April. Okay, some reviews. Okay, I like this conversation here, right? So sometimes when it comes to making offers, right? Am I minimizing it? Yeah, but do I think it's true? I do. So sometimes you may put an offer. Let's say you have an offer on a home for $450,000, right? And you may speak to me, who's the listing agent, or another listing agent out there, and I may tell you, hey guys, we thank you for your offer, but we have a higher offer. And I may tell the buyer, look, we may have to go over asking to get the house, right? You have to win the listing. If it's a really good home, there's going to be a lot of competition out there for that home. And you have to compete to get it. You say, well, I don't want my payment to be that much higher. Yeah, but I tell you, each $1,000 is $5 more on your mortgage. So I say, $5, right? It's a Happy Meal. It's 2 apple pies. It's a Big Mac combo, a McFlurry, right? If you're somebody who goes to Starbucks, it's just a few dollars more. So say using that scenario of a home worth 450, you made an over asking on it, right? If you made a 455, you may win the bid for that home. That's only 25 more dollars on your mortgage. And if you get the correlation of what you would buy for $5 to $25, that could help you get the home. Next slide. Uh, this gives you kind of an illustration on some things you may see. Uh, I told you before, let's say your payment is $1,900, right? $5 more, right, is $1,000. So if you were to make a purchase on a home or put in an offer, it would only cost you $5 more for each thousand, right? So if you see something and the home needs work, you have oops paint you can buy uh, for $5, right? Sheetrock may cost you $10. If the home is in bad shape, these are small items you can do yourself. Don't be turned off. Be motivated to get that done. Next slide, April. So we can help you buy, sell, invest in real estate. Currently, I'm at Keller Williams Landmark 2. We have offices in all of the 50 states, right? And we can help you from Alabama to Wyoming. So if you have family, friends, or relatives anywhere in those places, we can help you buy. Next slide, April. So we are national and we are also international. Hold on, wait for the international slide. It's very impressive, I promise you. Okay, maybe not today. But anyway, time, time for question and answers. So all the people that are here, do you have any questions or answers more importantly? Because that's how people really learn and we can begin to understand the process. So people that are on the Zoom call.
Hi, my name is
Hi,
Melanie Castillo. I'm sorry, I joined a bit
hi.
late. So I'm unaware if you went into details, but what does the NACA NACA stand for? The program?
Uh, say again, I'm sorry.
What does the NACA program stand for?
Oh, so that stands for NACA program. I'm not sure what the acronym stands for, but that's one of the programs that they have. I think it's a very well-meaning program. What they could do in practice may be something different. But I think the information they get about how to buy a home is pretty good. But once again, I would rely on your realtor that will let you know what is the best way for you to make a purchase for your home, for you and your family. It's very individual and it's not general. But I say start with your realtor and hire them to help you. And you may not be ready now. There's no problem. For me, I'd put you on what's called a nurture. Get you ready, maybe refer you to somebody like the Carnell if you have some issues you're trying to work through, and get you ready for home ownership.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Hey, Vinny.
Sure.
Hey, Vinny, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, so NACA is the Neighborhood Assistant Corporate America program. It's a loan where it's a nonprofit organization. They offer a loan where 100% financing, and they kind of, are not really big on credit. So you can have like no credit, light credit history, credit challenges, and they'll do up to 100% financing, and they'll even allow a credit from the seller towards closing costs, and there's no mortgage insurance. The only issue with the NACA loans is it's a process, and and what I find in my experience is that a lot of sellers, we don't have a lot of skin in the game when you want to buy something, especially when you're putting out zero money, and your credit's not the greatest. A lot of buyers would rather take someone who has money they could put down, like 3.5%, 5%, and they have a credit score. And then, that's the problem with the NACA loans. Not a bad loan. It is a process. It's a course you have to take. You have to do some community work as well to get it done. So it's not like a traditional loan, like your FHA, your conventional, your VA loans, where you go to the lender and they can close within a short period of time. So I just wanted to chime in there and talk about that, Vinny.
Thank
Right. And I know there's neighborhood housing services. There's so many, so there's what you can get and there's the reality, right? You would have matched the reality what's out there with how you can make a home and get a home for you and your family. And I'm going to say that lives or dies within the experience of your realtor, right? Because trying to go it alone, it's a very daunting process. And I've seen people try, it's very tough. And for those that say, yeah, I do it all my realtors, did you get the best interest rate? Did you really win the bid? How long did it take you? Did it take you 2 years as you're paying your landlord how much money because you didn't hire a landlord, hire a realtor, or did you stay, an overextended stay with family by not hiring somebody that you found and you trust, and more important, has a track record through a referral or something you can verify. So, yes, go ahead, Malik. You can unmute yourself.
Yeah. I know with getting into like buying the homes, they look at your work history.
Mhm.
So how does that work with like business owners that don't have an actual like W-2?
Right. So they do have programs, depending on how much down payment you have, where you may not be showing, or you may not be able to produce a large amount of money. But if you, as a business owner, can come up with a more down payment, the bank says, okay, I'll take that risk. So let's say if you were a regular W-2 owner and you say, hey, I want to do 3% down. It's okay, hey, we like Malik, him and his significant other, they make 90 or 100 grand, give them a loan. We can do 3% down. Malik may say, listen, I don't have that much to claim, but I do very well. I can put down 30%. The bank said, okay, we trust that. It's less risk for us if you put more money down as a business owner than, and you're not having those W-2s to show, what you can do, and they can secure the interest. So when you put more money down, the bank likes that because it's less risk for them. Generally speaking, a lot of business owners, they do that, and they'll put down maybe 20, 25, 30% down because they may not have, the income to show, what they've made for those years or whatever the case may be.
So then also, I know there's like the qualification process. So is that like you're submitting how much money you have like liquid?
What do you mean, to qualify for the home?
Yeah, because wouldn't the bank not approve you if you don't have a certain amount in your bank account or something like that?
Right. So there's different ways you can buy a home, right? A family, a friend, a relative, or angel investor can give you the money, and then the bank is going to track where that money came from for you to put a down payment down, or if you're buying cash, and the bank is going to tell you, hey, we want to see where the money came from, is if it's not your own, to qualify you before you can get the loan. So that's why speaking with a mortgage professional before you begin the process is important. And I get a lot of calls from people, and I ask them, I say, hey, are you qualified to buy the homes? They go, no, 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 I know I'm good. I never know what that means, that you know you're good. How do you know you're good until you're being
They
qualified?
think they're good. They think they're good.
Yeah, and it becomes a waste of my time, and I don't mind, well, I do mind wasting my time, but I don't want to waste your time either. So we don't take out people who are not qualified. I mean, you're free to go to open houses and hang out, get a visual of it. That's great. You can do that on your own. But as far as hiring a realtor, most realtors are not going to waste their time unless you're being qualified. And they can help you, right? Get that qualification from a mortgage broker or mortgage lender or whatever the case may be. I know you got more questions, Malik. I can see it in your left eye.
To give other people some time. Real quick, what's the difference between like a co-op and like a condo or multifamily in terms of like the process of acquiring?
Yeah, so co-ops normally are shares in a company. They have a board. They have to go through board approval, which a lot of people are fighting in New York because I could not like the shirt that you have on today, and I deny you for a co-op, right?
What
And
is
when
a
you're
co-op?
buying,
A
yeah,
co-op
a
is a
co-op is a,
group of people.
yeah, it's a cooperative. So me and you can start, Vinny and Malik's co-op. We have a building. I'm simplifying. It's a lot more complicated. We can start Vinny and Malik's co-op. We have, let's say, a 10-family building, and instead of making regular rentals, we'll make shares in the company, right? And after make those shares in the company, we sell those shares, and those shares are equal to your home ownership of that apartment. And they have laws and bylaws how they make that up. And of course, you need board approval to get in. And they're fighting those board approvals because they can be discriminatory when it comes to who they accept and who they don't. The thing with co-ops that people don't understand, you may see a co-op in New York for 200,000. Go, oh, that's great. It's only 200,000. I can get it. But many co-ops and condos, they want you to put down 20% to secure the interest. Condos are more like a home where there's square footage. Many times they don't have necessarily an approval board, and then you can sublet them as well. So that's how they different. And investor properties are one family, two family, and up. As far as a rental unit is concerned. Does that answer your question, Malik? Okay. Yes, sir, Mr. Joseph. How you doing, sir?
How you doing? Sorry I'm late. So if you answered a couple of these
Hey,
questions,
you're right on time. You're right on time, Joseph.
I have been in the process of looking at potentially purchasing my first home or getting into the market. And I wanted to see what is your idea. And I heard you get a lower rate if you get a property and you allow other people to live in it. So something like a duplex, I live upstairs. I have somebody I rent out downstairs that would help me out in terms of the quote unquote down payment. So I wanted to see your thoughts on that route.
Are you in New York?
Yes.
Okay, now you said you get a lower interest rate?
Somebody told me, yeah, like if the first house you buy is something you personally also live in, it helps you out in terms of how much you have to put down initially. And if you rent
Okay, so let me tell you what the hack is, right? The hack is kind of, let's say, if you want to buy an investment property, it may be a good idea to buy that first, right? Because I can get into an investment property with 3 to 5% down, right? I'm not a first time, well, I'm a first time home buyer, and I buy a two family first, right? As opposed to if it's your intent to have a multiple unit and you buy the one family, you say, I'm gonna get a one family. And then you go, you know what? I think I want to become an investor. The bank goes, okay, that's great. So if you now want to buy that two family home, you got to put down 20% down because we want to make sure our interest is secured because we don't kind of know you like that and we don't want that much risk. You have a house already and your single family home is not producing the income. So now you have to put down 20% depending on your credit, depending on what bank you use. So the hack is to get the two family first because that's going to be the least amount of money. And I wish I was a little bit ill prepared. I messed up. I didn't have my mortgage person here today, but I do understand the process. And don't worry, you can make a phone call. And I'm giving you loose terms, as far as what to do. So if it's your intent to become a homeowner, you want to start with an investment property, that's a good hack of how to get in for cheaper.
Okay.
Or I'll tell you another way, right? You can buy a one family home in a two family zone, convert it yourself and get immediate equity. And of course, that's you consulting with a realtor. You need an architect and a builder to, get that done.
Okay.
But did I answer your question,
Yeah,
Joseph?
you did. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. And as far as the interest rate, I don't think it's many times the investor property is a little bit higher. Single family homes, I think, are a little bit lower. Would you agree, Carnell?
That is correct.
Yeah.
Also, right now with the COVID crisis, so we know they put a freeze on the rent, but it wasn't a cancellation. So me thinking realistically, at some point once that freeze is over, we're gonna have a lot of back payment. So would you say right now as a millennial, if the credit is in place, if you can get the down payment, unfortunately people are going to be losing their homes due to potentially foreclosure, but a lot of real estate might be coming on the market. This is the best time to jump in, even if you don't know completely everything.
Well, you said there's a rent freeze?
Yeah, because when COVID started, didn't they put a freeze on rent? So in the biggest,
I believe I believe the first month they were saying requesting for the landlords to take the deposit as people were struggling to pay their rent. But I wouldn't say it was a rent freeze, nor was that universal, because the banks, contrary to popular belief, gave landlords like me no breaks, did not care. And, if you did need one and you had a home, you'd have to take it. But if you made a mistake as a homeowner and could pay and didn't, you're going to have a problem. And let me just correct you. This is not a housing crisis yet. This is a health crisis, not a housing crisis. Right now, the market, I'm going to say as of now, is hotter than ever. People are getting into multiple bid situations with homes. I'm counting my buyers to go hard or go home. And the millennial buyers, you guys have the most opportunity because the money is cheap. It's almost free. 2%, 3%. You can't beat that. So it's like the perfect storm for both people. Sellers can sell at a higher number, right? Because the money is cheap and the banks are lending, right? And the buyer, right? You should be happy because I can get it for 2 or 3% down. I can still do a 3% loan, you know, to get in now, right? Who knows what the future is going to hold? So, come on, hit me. I got all the answers, allegedly.
You brought up
Allegedly.
a few hacks and tricks. You got some more in the bank?
No, well, I just, that's I wouldn't say, as they say, pre-game. That's pain and mistakes that I made and do my own purchases, right? And just information that people may not have on what makes sense, right? It would make sense for me to buy a two-family home, right? And then say, you know what? Yeah, I think I'm done here. I'm going to rent this home out and then buy a one family. That makes sense. The bank says, okay, so what are you going to do, Vinny? I said, well, I'm going to rent these 2 units out. Here are my leases. Now I want to buy one family. The bank goes, all right, that makes sense. You can buy the next home for 3 to 5% down, as opposed to the other way, right? The bank is like, no, 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 we don't trust you. We need to secure our interests because COVID-19 may happen. You may lose your job, and now we want more money to secure it, right? You could do that once. But let's say you're really smart and you went to the Ask Vinnie Thompson seminar. You met Carnell or you met Crystal. He says, no, 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 no. I went to that seminar. My next one family, I want to buy that one family in what? A two-family zone, right? And then I convert that one family to a two-family, right? And now I got another two-family. And then it goes on and on and on, right? I knew you guys are too young for the Perk commercial, and they told someone, and they'll tell someone, and before you know it, you're a multimillionaire with many homes, right? And as you're going along, you're figuring out if I want to be a landlord, how to own. You're getting your chops, you're getting your feet wet on being a landlord, so on and so forth.
Hey, Vinny, can I add something in there?
You can.
Yeah, so I know you guys are up here, because you want to learn about the home buying process. And one of the things is that rates are really low right now, as Vinny said. You always want to take advantage of an opportunity when it presents itself, especially like they giving out free money. But one of the things is this: when it comes to credit, guys, make sure whatever you do not go buy a car. Do not go charge up your credit cards. Make sure whatever you do, protect your credit by all means, because when the bank goes to qualify you for a loan, they're going to look at how much debt you're carrying to how much income you got. So if you have any debt, don't close it out, because if you close out any credit cards too, that will drop your credit
Great point.
score. So just make sure you keep your credit card balances below 30% and under. Ideal, keep it close to zero, but don't pay it off, because if you pay it off, what happens is a lot of the credit card companies, they're not making an interest. They're not making any money off of you, so they may not report the following month. So you want to make sure you keep those credit card balances as low as you can, so this way you can qualify for as much as you can too. Now, if you have light credit scores, one thing you can do to get your score above the 700s, there's two things you can do. If you have a family member that has a good credit card history, you can go on as an authorized user as long as they're carrying no late payments and they're carrying their balances pretty low. And just make sure that person is good financial standings. That will help you as well. Now, if you have credit cards, if you take your credit card balances, you make two payments within a cycle, so you pay down below 30%, before the due date, 15 days before the due date, and then 3 days before the due date, pay down under 10%. A lot of times what the credit card companies will do is they will report your payment history 2 times to the credit agencies, which will help improve your credit score. So if your score is like a 650, you want to get above that 700 so you can get the best interest rate. It's a great little credit card trick that can help you to increase your credit score. So I wanted to throw that out there because I met a lot of people who wanted to buy a home and they went out there and bought themselves a car. Now that car payment costs them from buying a home. So make sure if you're going to buy a car, put it in somebody else's name for the time being, or just wait, and wait till you get that loan. And then once you close, you can then get that car after that. And then the last thing is this I want to leave you with. And again, I'm not a licensed loan officer anymore, so I should not be giving out any financial advice. But if you are light in qualifying for a home loan, some of the banks like FHA, they will allow a non-occupant cosigner, to help you to qualify. That cosigner most of the time cannot make more money than you. Let's say you're making $70,000 a year, they're making $40,000 a year, and it has to be a family member. They can co-sign with you. They don't have to go on a deed. They don't have to go on a mortgage. As far as the title, they'll have to be on a mortgage deed, but they can help you to qualify for a loan. So I want to throw that out there to you as well. And then same thing with conventional. If you're putting down a huge down payment, I heard the gentleman said he was self-employed. A lot of time when we're self-employed, we write off a lot of expenses. So we may make the money to qualify, but we may not show enough money to get the loan. So if you have someone and you're putting down a 25% down payment, a lot of times even conventional, they'll allow a family member too to help you to qualify for the loan. Again, that person needs to make sure they're working. They need to be able to document their income. Your down payment needs to be in the bank so the bank can verify it and can help you to get qualified for a loan. And again, make sure that credit is stellar, because that's really going to make a major decision on how the banks go about giving you financing. So I want to throw it out there to you, Vinny, or to people out there.
That's perfect. And like what Carnell said earlier, right? This is just preliminary information to help you on what you can do to buy a home, right? Relying on all the professionals that you can to make sure that you do what's right. I've met many people that did just what Carnell said not to do. Said, hey, you ready to buy a house? Yeah, I got something. I'm going to take care of it. I'm going to fix my credit. And they did almost exactly what Carnell said. They paid off their credit cards, shut them down, and then shut down their account. So you actually did yourself a huge disservice because the bank's like, okay, that means do credit. Why would you, cancel all of your credit cards after you paid off the card? And they may not know that you have to have small balances. You can charge what you want, but what you carry over month to month is something different. So from the time that you think you want to buy, you should sit down and consult with the professionals to help you achieve at a high level and figure out what's the best thing for you and your family to do, right? Because once you know, you then can tell others, and hopefully you're telling them consult with the professionals. Crystal, any closing thoughts?
These are all great points, definitely. So there have been situations, as Carnell mentioned, where we've been in contract and, now the mortgage that gets denied because, that extra, debt now that's on the credit report. Vinny touched on this, before you start to look for a home, first you start with Vinny. Vinny will get you in contact with your team, right? And your team comprises of Carnell as the credit professional, and then you have a mortgage professional. That mortgage professional will pre-approve you based on your current state of finances, right? So you get that pre-approval, you send that over to Vinny, or the mortgage professional will send it to Vinny, and then that's when Vinny, takes you out and you start looking for homes. That pre-approval is for that current state of finances. So you want to try to keep your current state of finances at that same kind of level throughout the process. You want it to obviously, to continue to make money and continue to put money into your bank account. But you definitely don't want to incur any additional debt because that could ultimately affect you receiving what's called a mortgage commitment. And that mortgage commitment is something that is necessary to, confirm that you're ready to go before you get loan approval to close. So this is all good information that both Vinny and Carnell are providing you with concerning credit.
And going back to the car, right? A long, long time ago, Joseph and Malik, I was your age, in my 20s, and I wanted both, right? I want the Quan, right? Jeremy McGraw. I want the Quan. I want the car and I want the home. But my daddy, rest his soul, always says, you never pull your new car into your landlord's driveway, right? So I bought my house, and I think like a month after I bought my house, I got the new car. It was a 1999 Toyota Solara, stick shift. I pulled out the driveway sideways, the Toyota dealership. Those spinning wheels, I was out, and then I got it. So you can have both, right? Just get the house first, right? The car can come later. You can always get the car. And in fact, when you buy a home, you're born again as far as credit is concerned, right? Because you're a homeowner now. You're contributing to society at a high level. They give you tax breaks instead of breaking you on taxes, right? Because once you buy the home, you're going to Home Depot. You're paying utility bills. You're hiring people to clean. You're hiring your landscaper. You're investing in the economy, right? Which is why, we give tax breaks, or why tax breaks are given when you're a homeowner, all right?
Are some of those tax breaks related to, like, let's say if I have to um upkeep of the home or improvement of the home, some of those things I can write off, right? Like most of those?
And definitely consult your tax preparer. They can tell you that. Yeah, so you can write off, what is it, Crystal? Principal, interest.
So I have to say, of course, I'm not an accountant, but
That's
yes,
right.
Vinny is right. Vinny is right. So you
Yeah,
definitely, where Vinny says you have a team in place, that's part of your team. You have to have a good accountant on your
right.
team. You can just fire off those questions, but Vinny's right.
hmm Yeah, and the thing is to have write-offs, right? You work so hard, especially in New York, where things are so expensive. It's time to get write-offs instead of getting, I don't know, written on, something like that. So, any more Q's or any more A's? April, have any questions on Facebook? Alice, go ahead. I see you raising your hand.
Hi. So I'm in a bit of an interesting position as far as my first-time home buying journey, things like that. Um, as far as setting myself up credit-wise, like all the intangibles, I seem to be doing okay. Credit score is good, like clearing most of my debt. I did make a mistake of buying a new car, but that was more out of necessity than want. However, the way everything's presented now, for the range of home that I'm looking for in order to make it more of an equitable asset as opposed to just a regular home, um, it's looking like I'd only be able to put down about 10%, reasonably still be able to put food on the table, things like that, the next upcoming months. So
Right.
I guess just my general question would be, I know if you put down less than 20%, there is another fee that is incurred for putting less than 20% down. I guess just the way the market is looking, especially due to the pandemic and everything going on with that, I know the interest rates are really low. So in the long term, that's good. But at the same time, in the moment, it would cost me more. So I guess my question would be, do you
hmm
think it would be worth it more to start looking now where I would incur that extra fee and might have to struggle in the short term, but then, my mortgage overall, the interest rate on it would be lower? Or do you think it'd be better to to put myself in a better position later on and then have to worry about the variable of where the finance, not the finance fees, the mortgage rates fall later on down the line, as well as inflation of just homes going up in price, things like that?
Right. So somebody like yourself, Alex, you would definitely have to sit down with a mortgage professional to break all of that down for you. You made some very valid points. I can tell you someone that called me and said they want to buy a home. Similar to what you said, they had 5% down. They said, "Well, Vinny, I got 5% down, but I'm not buying a house unless I do 20% because I don't want to pay mortgage insurance." And because I said, "Okay, that's great. That sounds like a plan." I said, "How much money can you save?" So I'm a great saver. So, okay, what's your idea of a great saver? Says I can save $10,000 a year, still go on vacation, and do all these wonderful things. I said, that's great. I said, 10 grand a year. I said, okay. I said, so you got, you know, your basic down payment. What are you gonna say? Another 100 grand? That's right. So in 10 years, you will have saved $100,000. My question to you and my answer to him was, how much is your rent? How much did you get back in taxes? Right? In 10 years, what will the market have been? In 10 years, in theory, you could have paid a quarter of your mortgage off, right? If you took a 15-year or made extra principal, you could have maybe been halfway through and either not been paying rent, which gives you no deductions, or you could have been just working on your future, more importantly, instead of waiting for, instead of taking advantage of the market of right now, trading that for the mortgage of 10 years later. So it's different schools of thought, and they may involve your accountant. Definitely, that's a mortgage banker question that can answer that for you. But if you look at the history, Alex, right now, 2-3% free money, PMI or not, right? And not to mention, you will be getting a tax return once you.
I'm sorry, I think you froze up there.
Everybody froze.
There you go.
On my end, you froze up, Alex. I didn't hear your answer, but I don't know if everybody heard it.
No, that's okay. I just didn't hear the end part of your answer because you froze up for the last, I think 10 seconds or so. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Alex. I think he just froze up for a second.
Can anybody hear me?
Oh, there you go. Okay. Now I think I got your back.
Wave your head. I know you're there. I whip my hand back and forth. All right. All right. Any more questions or answers? If you're there, you want to raise and pose a question, you can. I think the Zoom is bugging out on me. Everybody's frozen.
Can you hear me?
All right, Malik, you there? I can see you, Malik.
Yeah. Real quick, what do you think is just, I know it's different for each person, but what should be an ideal credit score to shoot for? And then on average, I know it's different per house, but about down payment that you should try to have.
Sorry, Malik, my audio's no bueno.
You're good.
Yeah, can you guys hear me? I can't.
I can hear you now.
I see everybody's lips moving.
Can you hear us, Penny?
All right, I'm in the dark here. I'm flying blind. So, Carnell, if you want to give your information so people can contact you,
Sure.
We can start with you, Carnell, and then we can go on to Crystal.
Yeah, no problem. Sir, Malik, the question that you were asking, I would definitely get with Vinny offline. He'll put you in contact with a mortgage lender, and they'll tell you what your qualifications
Okay, all right. Sounds good.
To get the loan. Reach me. My direct number is 203. Actually, what I'll do is I'll put it up in the chat group. I'll put my contact information up in there, so you'll have all my information if you guys just want to screenshot it. But yeah, thank you for tuning in. I'm going to turn it over to you, Crystal.
Thank you all for coming to the Homebuyer Seminar today. Does anyone else have any questions?
All right. So, and if you need to contact me, you can always call 718, because I can't anything, 810-3078, or go to my YouTube channel on all social media. askvinnythompson.com. And if I don't have the answers, I'll call Crystal, I'll call Carnell, I'll call the mortgage pro, I'll call an accountant, try to help you get the answers that you need for family and friends or relatives across the United States and all of America and outside of America, from China to Jamaica. All right. All right, everybody, over and out. I hope this has been informational and successful for you. Have a great Sunday. I'm going to go jump in the water someplace. It's hot.
Thank you guys for
All
coming. Our
right.
information is in the chat.
All right, everybody.
All right.
Over and out.
Bye, guys.
All right.